Hey, welcome back, Math Gurus. Today's video will practice on multi-step fraction equations. Okay, so the first example says solve for x. X is an unknown. It does represent a value. We just don't know what it is. We got some steps that I created on the side. You can follow along. I will explain what each of them means as I go. Parentheses, you have to get rid of the parentheses. Before you get rid of them, you look to see if there's anything inside the parentheses you can combine. In this case, there isn't, so we'll go move into distributing that -2. I always tell students if there's a number that looks like it's knocking on the door of your open parentheses, that means multiply. The variables on both sides is typically introduced in 8th grade. So you're going to multiply -2 over 1 by everything inside. So in this case, it's -2 over 1 times 7 over 6. That simplifies to -14 over 6, which is -7/3. Okay, and then -2 and +4 is -8. I'll bring down the -18. And the -3x. I'll go ahead and bring down what's on the other side. Okay, now parentheses are gone. Combine like terms. What that means is you can only combine like terms. They have to have the same variable and the same exponent. So -18 and -8, well, you can combine those. Those are just integers. You end up with -26. You can't combine on opposite sides of the equal. They have to have the same variable and exponent, so you can actually combine -7/3. And normally, I would not write stuff on the side, but I will run out of room. And I've already run out of room, so this is definitely a retake video. Okay, so my denominator is going to be 3. And so my new numerator is -9. And so I end up with -16 over 3x. So the next step, it's not on there because you don't have to know how to get rid of these fractions. I've heard teachers say just convert to decimal. I'm not a fan of that, especially if it's a repeating decimal and you have to plug in your answer in a gradable. I will show you how to clear these fractions. And so we're just going to make all of them a fraction. I need a number that 2, 3, and 1 can divide into without a remainder. Yeah, 2 goes into 3, but there's a remainder. So we're going to use 6. Okay, and so 6 times 3, 18. Half of that is 9, so we end up with 9x. And then 6 times 7 is 42. Divide by 3, you get 14. And then -16 times 6 divided by 3, you end up with -32x. Bring down the negative. Oh, no, I distribute that just because it's not. And this becomes -156. Okay, so now I'm going to step 3. Move the variable to one side. It doesn't matter what side. I particularly like to avoid dealing with negative numbers. So what that tells me is I'm taking out the little guy. And if you're going, well, who's the little guy? It's this -32. Because when I add 32, guess what? My negative is going away. I'm left with 41x plus 14 is equal to -156. Okay, now I have a 2-step equations. I have no fractions and no decimals. I'm just going to be using my inverse operations. So it says add or subtract. Well, I will subtract because it's the opposite of add. -14. And I end up with -170. And 41x, and so it says multiply or divide. Well, that's because I need to get rid of the 41, and so it's 41 times x. The inverse is divide, so I will divide both sides by 41. Okay, Now, for me, as an 8th grade teacher, I am totally okay with leaving it like this. I think whatever your teacher expects you to do, to be counted right, go for it. I think this is fine. I mean, you don't have to put it into a mixed number or leave it into a decimal because it's not going to be fun anyways. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope it helped. If it did, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe.